My name is Brit Kondravy. I'm the conservation coordinator at the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor. I know it's a really long name. We wish we could shorten it. We do get often called the D&L, although that's a trail within the corridor, and we are, as you will learn, much more than just a trail. So this looks long. I'll keep it. What time do you guys normally end? Just out of curiosity. 9. I will not keep you past 9. So we'll breeze through some of this, but I did want to provide an overview of my organization for anyone that's not familiar. Very, very quick one. Let you know about the D&L Trail resources that are available to you, some of which I brought tonight. Relate the D&L Trail to conservation landscapes of PA and other nearby regional trail networks. Dive into the link, which is the trail network of Lehigh Valley, and then top it off with just a quick perusal of our volunteer and programmatic opportunities, trail-friendly businesses, and funding opportunity. So what is the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor? We are one of 55 heritage areas in the state. And we were established by Congress in 1988 to tell the significant story of iron and coal in this region. As part of that, we work on the D&L Trail, which connects 3 distinct regions and also focuses on our 4 pillars: industrial heritage, economic development, nature and the environment, and health and wellness. So that's the corridor, and we've broken it down into 3 regions of Delaware Canal State Park, Lehigh Valley, and Anthracite. The trail runs through the middle. You said I have a little laser on here? Oh yeah. So here's our D&L Trail. When it's complete, it will be more than 165 miles. When we were established by Congress, that was the goal, and we hope to have it by about 2025. But because the trail follows the Delaware and Lehigh Rivers, D&L Trail, and on some parts of the river, we have trail not only on the river side, but on the canal side. So we're able to create loops, which everybody loves, which is how we'll now be the 165 plus when it's all said and done. But right now we have about 140 miles connected, but there are 2 major areas of gaps. Some of those are in the Lehigh Valley area, and then the other major gaps are located in Luzerne. The thing about having gaps in Lehigh Valley, as you can see, it's right in the middle of the trail. So closing those is especially important because when you have a very long multi-use trail, you offer an amazing resource for your residents, but 2, you create this gem of the state. If any of you have been to the Gap, the Great Allegheny Passageway Trail, I was out there for the first time last fall, and that trail saved some of those towns that it was built along. It provided a way for the communities there to make money through business, through lodging, through catering to the trail community, and it brings in a lot of tourists. So where I'm going to focus tonight is the Lehigh Valley region because that's where we are, and that's where we are working especially hard to progress the trail.
Sorry, Greg.
That's okay.
1 second.
You're good. Better you than me. Oh, is my mic not working?
You're good? Sorry, we're good.
Okay. Okay, cool. Should I keep going now?
Okay.
All right. So before I move on, one thing I wanted to mention was, so our team, our trails and conservation team specifically, works on, so we don't own, this is important. My organization does not own a single mile of the trail. There's about 30 different landowners. That includes state parks and municipalities, county owned sometimes. And our director of trails and conservation, Liz Rosenkrantz, will connect with the landowners. We have an ownership council, and that allows us to really make sure that when you're on the mile marker 2 from mile marker 40, you're seeing consistent signage throughout the trail, and maybe consistent width, consistent recommendations as they apply to e-bikes. Even though there's 30 different landowners, we're trying to make a consistent experience throughout the trail. But in addition to that, we also operate the National Canal Museum. We're located at Humer Park. If you've never been, we have a special exhibit up now on the coal country portraits. We do one every year. And we also still offer canal boat rides on the canal with our 2 mules, Hank and George. So they're stars back from their winter home. And so we're fusing that industrial past with our, the ability to reclaim some of the old rail beds and the old tow paths into trails that we can use today for health and wellness. So we're going to start off in Lehigh County, and I'm definitely going to use some of my cheat sheets because this is where our director focuses most of her time and attention. Lehigh County, it goes from mile marker 94.5 to 83. And we're going to zoom into some of the accomplishments that have taken place there. Why isn't it working? Did I turn it off? Okay, yeah. So that worked, I guess. Okay. All right, so we have about 18.6 primary miles currently completed, and we've got a future completion of 10 miles planned. That's part of where the $7 million will be dedicated to. So in November of 2022, the state basically announced a dedication of $7 million to progress the D&L Trail in Allentown. What does that dedication mean? It means that they've put $7 million aside in the state budget, but they're not just going to give that to us or an entity that's a landowner. Those landowners still had to apply for grants, which we assisted with, to get the funding. There's different steps when you're doing a trail. You need the land acquisition, you need engineering, and some of the studies. So that money is available, but it hasn't all been given out. The municipalities will continue to apply for it, and that will allow them to do a few things. Let me make sure I say everything right. So already we've done a mile of trail last year. We put in a new pedestrian bridge. We have a picture of the pedestrian bridge put in Catasauqua. We completed an Allentown area study, and this is a proposed trail in East Allentown near Bradford Street, where right now there's currently a gap. There's a bit of a homemade trail that goes through the woods, but it's not safe, and it's a small dirt path. So definitely being able to create this trail alongside the road will improve access to the trail. We in Northampton County, well, no, let me make sure I get all this. I want to make sure I communicate this all correctly. Okay, so we progressed the Allentown area trail study, and we're focusing on the canal side with Hanover Township and the city of Allentown. With them, we have 2 miles of trail planned. And then there's portions of the West Bank Rail Trail developed alongside the Riverside Drive waterfront development project. So if you haven't heard of that, I did bring some printouts for you guys to reference. They're currently, Lehigh Valley Planning Commission is currently seeking public input, and they are redoing a whole 3-mile area beside the Lehigh River in downtown Allentown called Riverside Drive. As part of this plan, so they got about $23 million from the National Department of Transportation. And as part of that, they're going to revitalize this corridor, which was made up of like old industrial buildings and brownfields. And they're putting in 3 miles of D&L Trail on the eastern side. And if we can get that connected to Race Street, it will pick up the D&L Trail on the western side where it continues northward. So this is filling a huge gap in the D&L Trail. And we expected it to be complete by about 2026 or 2027. So I printed out some of these for you guys if you're interested in finding out more about the plans for this revitalization project, or if you want to add your input while you can, you are able to do so. Okay, so now we're going to jump over to Northampton County. And Northampton County has almost 24 miles of trail complete with a 4.5-mile spur, 12 trailheads. And they also have several landowners, which we've listed to the right. I think that really helps illuminate the partnership that's required to put sometimes even a mile of trail in. And we're not even touching on when you need a crossing with, say, Norfolk Southern, a train crossing. Right. So this year we had a really exciting ribbon cutting. We connected, Northampton County was connected to North Catasauqua. That was a trail section of over a mile. And in 2021, they did the groundbreaking. In 2022, that section was complete. And it means that Northampton County is the second county in the 5-county corridor to have completed D&L Trail section. So we now have 2 counties with completed D&L Trail it's really exciting, and it's exciting to know that we are doing what we were set out to do when established by Congress. This, I can email this to anybody because I know it's really hard to see here, but part of the $7 million this is what we call our Lehigh Valley gaps. So every different trail is in a different state of progress with whether or not funding is acquired, if bids are out for construction, if engineering has started. But this breaks it down really nicely. We have in the Northampton to North Caddy to the Race Street to Hanover has been completed. Even I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing this, but I'll point it out as best I can by colors. Thank you. The red, dark blue, light blue, orange, and yellow. Red, dark blue, light orange, and yellow. Those are parts of the trail that will be completed with that $7 million investment by the state. And as you can see in the Lehigh Valley area, this is on the whole trail, this is one of the main areas where we're working on having West Bank Rail Trail and trail developed on the canal side in order to form some of the loops. The trail can be a lot to take in with over 140 miles already connected. It can be a little overwhelming, but we do have, I brought some with tonight. They're not free as of now, they're $15, but you're welcome to take a peek or download them as a PDF online for any donation that you wish. But this is our guide to the 165, and it goes over the history of each town, points of interest, places to eat, lodging. So this is a great resource for planning a day trip or an overnight trip along the trail. I know when I visit parts of the trail that I've never been before, even though I work and live in the corridor, I get to treat those new sections like a tourist. Like, what's this town? What does it have to offer? What's its history? And that's a great way to approach any new place. I also brought, which you might have seen before, our brochures. This offers a close-up view of how to access the trail, the trailheads, nearby green spaces, and of course, how that relates to the roads and community. And online, this is an interactive resource that you can use. You can click on any trail section and it will pull up who owns that section, if it's open and improved trail, open and unimproved, meaning like maybe it still has all of the what looks like a meteor shower from Hurricane Ida. You can go on it, but it might not be pleasant for you. We put all of that in there for your reference to plan your trip accordingly, and you can see which projects are under development. So Liz Rosencrans, our Director of Trails and Conservation, she's the one that's really working with the landowners on the D&L Trail specifically. And my role, I work as what's called, this is going to be a lot, it's called external lead for Lehigh Valley Greenways conservation landscape. A conservation landscape, my husband still asks me what this is, but it is it's a landscape supported by DCNR, the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. And basically my organization will apply every year to get a grant through DCNR. And with that funding, we're able to bring together partners, nonprofits like Lehigh Gap Nature Center, Wildlands Conservancy, CAT, Coalition for Appropriate Transportation, municipalities, the counties. We get all of these people in one room together, and we look at the challenges and opportunities facing our region at that aerial view. And we identify 4 main goals to focus on in our area. So here we are. So Lehigh Valley Greenways is here in Northampton and Lehigh County, but we are surrounded by the 7 other conservation landscapes that you can see. And they relate to the corridor that I work at, because the corridor is, you can see, passes through 4 of those conservation landscapes. So we help oversee 1, but we pass through several. So Lehigh Valley Greenways Conservation Landscape is focused on conservation restoration, trails and outdoor rec, community revitalization, and education and outreach. Our partners have identified these as 4 main goals, and our goal is to connect all the ribbons of green space in our region to enhance health and wellness, improve the economy, and protect our natural resources. In 2017, we realized that because we have so many different partners, there was a subset that really wanted to drill in on trails specifically. They wanted to be able to develop a map really focusing on Lehigh Valley trails, and brand them. Because in our, if you look at our corridor, we have northeastern PA trails like Carbon and Luzerne County. To our south, we had the circuit trails, that's near Philly and Bucks, Montgomery. But we didn't have a trail network specifically designated for the Lehigh Valley area. And so the Link Trail Network was officially branded in 2017 with this logo. I brought magnets for all of your vehicles. Please take one with to support. And the idea is that when you get like the Ironton Rail Trail commissioners in the room with us, you get the bikers that are using those trails all the time. You get the counties who are helping to put lay-in trail. You get all these people in the room, you can identify the trail gaps in your region and work together to identify, okay, what's the most important trail gap to close now? Because sometimes there's not enough funding to go around. But if you can work as a group and maybe really advocate to close one gap, you can start knocking them out like dominoes. You can also work together to advertise your trail network as a tourist destination and build it up with like trail-friendly businesses and other funding opportunities. So the Link Trail Network is what I help assist. And we just reconvened after a bit of a hiatus. So if you guys have any specific questions for me, I may have the trail update you're looking for at the end. So the Link Trail Network, this is different than hiking trails. There's right now there's 12 that are counted as the link, and these are multi-use trails. So usually wider, a lower grade, and you'll see people biking, walking, rolling, sometimes riding a horse. Seen that on parts of it. And we've got about 125 miles currently included in the Link Trail Network. This slide shows the connectivity of the link. So you'd have the D&L Trail comes through here. That sort of forms the spine of the network. But then you've got, like, say, the Little Lehigh Parkway, the Jordan Creek Greenway. You've got Ironton Rail Trail and the Norbath Trail, Plainfield Township Recreation Trail, and Bushkill Township, Carl Sterner Arts Trail, just to give you a place. It's about Easton, Bethlehem, Allentown. So that's how our network flows through the area. And if you go online, I know we might not all be online people. I always prefer a printed map, but I have to say, we did launch an interactive map, which is new from the last time someone from the D&L presented here. And this is the zoomed out view of the map. So the orange is completed trail sections. The dotted sections are planned trail. The green represents Greenways. We have the Appalachian Trail here. And brown, which you can't see until we zoom in, but brown will be hiking paths. If you were to click on a trail section, you'd get to see the name of the trail length, the trail surface. And if you click that further, it would give you more information about access points, other restrooms, what other trails does it connect to. We're going to zoom into that blue circled area, see where we end up. Okay, so here we have Plainfield Township Recreation Trail and Jacobsburg State Park and Saucon Rail Trail. There's a TRASA funding to connect Jacobsburg State Park to Plainfield Township Recreation Trail. And so once you have this connection, you can not only connect Plainfield to Jacobsburg and all of these hiking trails, which we would consider a destination trail, but it will also connect to Bushkill Township, which will eventually, hopefully, connect to the AT. Down here, Saucon Rail Trail, there is a main road that there's not a plan to make a crossing as of yet. So, so that remains a gap, but the funding has been put aside to connect these 2 points. Okay. Those 4 goals that I mentioned of the conservation landscape, the outdoor rec, community revitalization, conservation, education, outreach. One of the ways that we make those lofty goals happen is we give people money. So we run the Lehigh Valley Greenways mini grant program. Municipalities, schools, nonprofits can apply. And one of the priorities that we have is increasing trail amenities. And last year we had, so we were just looking at Plainfield Township, and this shows how the conservation landscape links to that. We gave an award to Plainfield Township to improve one of their major trailheads at Knitters Hill. And they're going to provide ADA parking spots, ADA amenities. They're going to add native plants, and they're also going to put in some BMPs, some best management practices for stormwater around the new parking lot. So we're not only focused on closing the trail gaps, we're focused on providing the funding needed to create the best trail experience you can with amenities, with great trailheads, with great parking, and things like restrooms. So if you're, a nonprofit municipality or education institution, feel free to find out more about that and apply next year. So if we were to zoom out, we're just zoomed in over here, but just to show you the connections to the rest of the link trail network specifically. As you can see, there's Saucon and there's a gap, but it does link to the Tatamy Trail, True Rivers Trailway. Down here through the D&L, we see the Carl Sterner Arts Trail as an island, but maybe not forever. And the link trail goes around there. Okay, so we're going to zoom on down. This is the Bethlehem Hellertown area. So here we see that we have the D&L Trail, South Bethlehem Greenway, and Saucon Rail Trail. This has been a major gap. It's about 1.2 miles. You can, it's not that, some trails it's dangerous to bike or walk, a little bit of a hairy situation. This you can do it with back roads, but still, if we can keep people on a trail, that is better. And excitingly, the state keeps a list of what they identify as the top 10 trail gaps that they are going to work to close. And they've had the same list for a few years, but there's been an opening. And out of all the gaps in the state, the gap between South Bethlehem Greenway and Saucon Rail Trail is going to make it onto the list of top 10 gaps identified by the state. That's very exciting because that means one day it will get done. So the city of Bethlehem did secure funding. They will need more, but they secured some funding from Congresswoman Susan Wild's office, and they are in talks with Norfolk Southern, because in order to make this trail connection happen, there has to be a safe rail crossing. So even though, you guys might already know, but even though it's only 1.2 miles, that might be like, oh, so next year that'll be ready. We could still be looking at like 5 to 10 years, but one day it's going to be closed, guys, because it's on the list now. So very exciting. And over here, if you can bike to, there's trail access at Sand Island right over here. And then that allows you to go Allentown this way, Easton this way. And you can bike that bridge if you were so inclined, but hopefully there'll be a connection there as well. Oh, the other thing is Saucon Rail Trail, if you were to follow it down, Upper Bucks Rail Trail, which is outside of my jurisdiction and purview, but I watch them. They are working on a 3-mile trail connection. And when Saucon Rail Trail is connected to Upper Bucks Rail Trail, that will link it into the Circuit Trail network. So, I mean, huge news, guys. All right, let's see what else we got. So just a quick plug for Lehigh Valley mini grants again. I'm not biased at all. I do live in Hellertown, but we have, so you saw Saucon Rail Trail, that goes through like Hellertown, Lower Saucon Township, Upper Saucon Township, and Coopersburg, Hellertown Borough. And there in Hellertown Borough, a mini grant allowed the borough of Hellertown to put in a bike repair station at Water Street Park. We'll use it all the time. I used it the other day. It's very handy. It's in a very populated area. Another mini grant through Lehigh Valley Greenways allowed Hellertown to resurface the trail. And located in this town is Saucon Valley Bikes. They are a trail-friendly business. This is a program we run where we train people at stores to be ambassadors for the trail. So you may see, if you're especially in places like Whitehaven or Jim Thorpe, you may see a D&L logo and it says, "We fill water bottles." Because when you're on the trail, especially if you're in places where you don't have cell phone service too, you're getting off the trail, what do you want? You want somewhere to be able to lock up your bike. So we offer trail and amenities grants to have bike racks. You want somewhere you can go in and fill up your water bottle and not mind that you are sweaty and wearing a helmet and you still feel welcome. So we offer training for our ambassadors to know, like, these are going to be the needs of trail users if they come to visit you. And here's some knowledge about how to help them find like the next trailhead or point of interest. So Saucon Valley Bikes was part of that pilot program of our green retail and trail friendly business. And now we're moving right along the network And we're gonna visit the Jordan Creek Greenway area. So Jordan Creek Greenway. Now, this is a trail that was, it's intended to connect the city of Allentown to Trexler Nature Preserve. It's going to pass through 5 county and municipal owned parks when it does that. That includes Jordan Park, Jordan Meadows, Covered Bridge, Trexler, and one more that I'll see in a minute on my next slide. We did, there's a, was it the transportation needs assessment LVPC just had, and we did with the city of Allentown, we did put in a trail connection as like a shared road to connect the Jordan Creek Greenway to the D&L Trail. We don't know if that's been approved yet. When you get projects approved by Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, they can build it into their budget and provide funding in their follow-up plan. So we don't know if it was accepted, but we did put in for that. And as you can see, this is close to the Lehigh Park pathway. And we are doing, just so you know, we're going to do a site visit. Lehigh Valley Greenways, a partnership I hope lead. We're doing a site visit to the Jordan Creek Greenway because the people in charge of making these connections, there's been some shifts with the organizations and the people who were staffed there. And so even in my partnership, this has been a bit of a blind spot to know where every section on this is at, because it does span so many different municipalities, and because they're all working on their own timeline, but working to connect to each other. It's going to be really great. We're going to have a coach bus and we're going to visit 3 different spots. So in the, it's not shown here, but this was completed. So there's a new section in downtown Allentown by Hamilton Street, and it's great. You can walk it, you can bike it, roll, you can picnic alongside of it, fish, and there's just awesome signage to let you know where you're at, what streets are crossing. So we're going to be stopping there. At Covered Bridge Park in Whitehall, they are going to be putting in 1 new mile of trail. So we'll be stopping there to learn about that. And we'll also be stopping to look at trail that's under construction in Lehigh County. I'm sorry, it's not to bid in Lehigh County. So if you're interested in joining us on a bus tour and stopping at 3 different spots and learning from the engineers and the landowners that are actually working on this project to get the, the up close personal knowledge of where things are at, where they're going, and what's being completed, I did include a sign up list on that table. It's just your name, email. It's just your name and email. And then I can shoot you an invitation to join us on this free site visit to Jordan Creek to explore further. Jordan Creek Greenway, that's what I was missing. So those are the 5 county and municipal parks that the trail will eventually follow, and it's following the Jordan Creek corridor. So it's offering recreation, but it's also protecting the habitat that surrounds the waterway, which is great. And just finally, it goes through suburban, urban, and rural landscapes. This is some of the great signage I was telling you about in downtown Allentown. This was a bridge that was finished a few years ago, a biped bridge. The Jordan Creek itself offering amazing habitat for wildlife. And alongside the multi-use trail, you'll see posts that look like this. It's Valley Mountain Bikers letting you know where you can go off-roading if you're so inclined. Yeah, not me, but it's there for those who are into it. Okay, the last spot we're visiting on our tour today is this region. So this little loop here is the Ironton Rail Trail. And over here we have the Norbath Trail. And then the D&L keeps going. So we're zooming in so you can see the connections. This, sorry. It's so dark. Okay. So this actually was completed. We just need to update our online map, but this was completed, so that's exciting. And I have an update from my last meeting. Ironton Rail Trail, they as part of that TASA grant, they're going to get a new trailhead improvements in Whitehall Township, and a crosswalk placed in North Whitehall. And Norbath has a bid out for engineering on their trail. I'm sorry, guys. It's hard to see these buttons. So they're working to extend the Norbath Trail, and they've been given, there's funding allotted through TASA for them as well to expand the Norbath Trail. And again, this is one of those trails that leads to a destination. In this case, it's Wayne Grube Memorial Park. So I do encourage everybody to get out there to run, bike, walk, or explore. The multi-use trails are great because they do have that lower grade. You can just enjoy a walk or a roll. You can enjoy the scenic views of the waterways, of the creeks, of the mountains. And if you're able to get onto our the Link Trail Network, you'll see each of these trails broken down so you can get the individual information, but the map will show you how they connect or how we plan for them to connect. I did bring some Link Trail rack cards with me today, and again, the link magnets, spread the word. So it's just something I thought I would share with you. Right now we have a DCNR grant application in to support the conservation landscape. But one of the things that we added to it this year was to fund the design, production, and installation of a trail map to place at the Lehigh Valley International Airport. Maybe not this map. This is just like an idea of, you know, but the airport here sees over 900,000 travelers annually because it's our community airport. Most of those are residents returning, but most people in the Lehigh Valley are not aware of the Link Trail Network. So although it could be a great boon for any tourists coming into the area and seeing like, wow, this is an area of region with a trail network, and it has, you know, trail friendly businesses and lots of opportunities to explore destination trails. It's also going to help cue in our residents. And those are specifically who we want to offer this resource to, because you don't really only use it for recreation, you can really use it for alternative transportation when it's connecting all of these communities and next to trail friendly towns and businesses. So these were two of the options for advertising at the airport, but there's many more, and we'll be looking for sponsorships. So if you're interested in our organization or the D&L Trail and interested in getting involved, I'll just plug some of our volunteer opportunities that we do have. There's just a few. We do D&L Trail Tenders. These are cleanup events. Sometimes one group will do one a year, like Lehigh University's Outdoor Club usually does at least one or two cleanups on the D&L Trail at Freemansburg, at Sand Island a year. So it doesn't have to be all of the time. And we can supply like gloves and cleanup materials for you if you're interested in organizing a group. And we often send out a D&L staff member to tell you more about that section of where you're at and what it means for it to be cleaned up. We have Adopt a Section. This is where you actually pick a section of trail, and that's yours. So you can, go out once a week, once a month with friends, by yourself, but that's your section of trail. And we keep a map of who has adopted what section. So you can really feel like you've claimed it. Maybe it's near your house. Maybe it's where you walk your dog anyway. And it can be, Christine, I didn't know you're here. Hi. It can be as small as a half a mile or as big as 5. It's really up to you. We have D&L Trail Patrol. You're not enforcement by any means. You're helpers. So you get the vest to wear along the trail. You learn how to identify. Okay, say there's storm water and it's puddling, say there's damage to the side of the canal, to the prism, say there's a tree down. You don't have to clean that stuff up or fix it, but we have an app run by Liz, our director, and you are able to record the conditions of the trail, and that gets back to her, and then she can communicate that to the appropriate landowner. So the thing about us, our organizations, is we're often stretched thin, and we don't really have the capacity to be like looking at the trail as much as we would like, especially when you've got 160 miles to keep an eye on. And our department has 3 people. So any extra help is greatly appreciated. And we do trainings and volunteer appreciation nights throughout the year. So if that's something that you're interested, again, just let me know and we can get you plugged into that. And there's, of course, a page on our website. If you guys are out there walking anyway, we have a partnership with St. Luke's Health Network called Get Your Tail on the Trail. You get to log in your miles, and as you meet certain milestones, you get free things sent to you. There is no catch. You may get a Get Your Tail on the Trail hat or a water bottle or a lantern. It's to incentivize our community to get out for health and wellness, to get walking, get moving, enjoy it. And prizes seem to really motivate people according to the data that we have. So that's, if you guys are out there anyway. If, again, you might see trail-friendly businesses, they'll have that logo on the bottom right. Sometimes it says about filling water bottles. This is Aardvark in Bethlehem, and that one I think is in Whitehaven, but I'm not sure. So that's a program if you have a business or if you think a business might be interested in becoming a trail-friendly business, again, let me know and I can connect them to the right person to go through that program. And this is a link to our event and amenity funds in case anyone is part of a nonprofit or through the AMC. If you wanted to improve a trail with a bike repair station, with parking spaces, ADA features, we do have, it's called a grant, but it's really actually it's like a funding pot available for that. So, and here is the contact information. We've got Liz at the top. There's my information. Whitney does our Adopt the Trail section, and there's our associate Charles. And the team thanks you for taking the time to let me just showcase a little bit about our organization, what we do, how the trail relates to the trail network in the community, and some of the projects that have been completed and some that are upcoming with funding available.